Brad Lager is running for lieutenant governor. He joined us in studio just a couple of weeks ago. Brad, how are you?
I'm absolutely great. Thanks for having me on today.
And you are a senator, so we don't have to I'm not promoting you by saying senator. You're trying to move up to lieutenant governor. Thanks for coming back on here. Let me start with this question. What's the deal with you calling for a special session for the Obamacare thing? Now, have you backed off on that? I'm a little confused.
Absolutely not. I absolutely believe we need to have a special session so Missouri can opt out of Obamacare. As you know, when the Supreme Court ruling came down, one of the components of the Supreme Court ruling, they were very clear, is that the federal government could not force states to take part in it. And specifically what it says in there is that every state has the option whether to partake in Obamacare or not. There are bold governors across this country right now saying their states are not going to take part in it. And I believe the people of our state spoke very clearly in August of 2010 when 71% said we do not want more government control of health care. And to be very honest with you, Mark, not only can we not afford it from the increased cost, we can't afford the job-killing taxes that will come with it.
Why is the answer to this, though, a special session?
Because I believe that the Missouri legislature needs to act immediately. There needs to be no question, because right now what's happening is any business that's even thinking about growing, thinking about moving, that is even looking at our state, one of the things they want is certainty and understanding of what the tax climate is going to be like. If Missouri starts down a road where it looks like they may begin to implement part of Obamacare, the reality is every business person understands you can't add 50% more people to your Medicaid rolls without raising taxes. And no business wants to go into a state where they know the tax burden is going to go up.
Brad, I have to ask you a couple of questions about your background. We did this a couple of weeks ago. I asked you, and just to give a quick bio, you're from Northwest Missouri, and then you told me that you were involved in a telecommunications firm, right?
Built a small wireless telephone company.
All right, let me play the answer that you gave me a couple of weeks ago.
And when I went in and when I actually became the general manager of the company, we had 2 employees, myself and one other person, and a few hundred customers, and we now have just a little over 30 employees and tens of thousands of customers. Great company. I'm proud to be a part of.
Now, proud to be a part of it. We went into a different topic there. Now, are you still a part of that company?
I do next generation planning. So there's a general manager that runs all the day-to-day operations of the company. And what I do is whenever we're not in legislative session, I actually work with them to plan the next generation of the network. And specifically right now what we're doing, Mark, is we're a CDMA company, but meaning our technology is CDMA. We have a 3G network, and we're planning our 4G evolution. So what we're doing at this point is we're having to take fiber optics to a lot of our towers as we start to build towards 4G.
Now, what's the name of that company?
Northwest Missouri Cellular is the name of the company.
Okay, now, because here's the confusion, because on your bios for both the Senate page and on the campaign page, you list that you started this company in small business, but your Wikipedia page, and I'm being told by other people, and I want to find out if this is true or not, that you also work for Cerner Corporation, which is a big healthcare information technology company out of Kansas City. Do you work for them or do you not?
I do. I'm a part-time employee at Cerner Corporation.
And what do they do? Can you describe?
Yes, absolutely. Cerner is an amazing company started by 3 entrepreneurs in Kansas City. They build information systems for hospitals. Basically, how do you automate, meaning computer software inside hospitals? How do you create a dynamic by which individuals can control more of their healthcare data? And that's what I actually work on. I actually work on a team where what we are trying to work on is all this information as healthcare continues to move forward into more technology, there's going to be more data out there. We believe that data is owned by consumers. And we believe that if consumers can control more of their data and get more of their data, they can actually make better healthcare decisions for themselves.
Now, you work part-time. How much do you make for them? On your personal financial disclosure, which I've actually been privy to, it says you make a pretty good chunk of change from that company. And there's nothing wrong with making money, but I guess my question is this, Brad. Why not disclose that you work for that company? Why is it missing from the bio? It seems like there's something shady going on. And now I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you a chance to clear that up.
But hide my association with Cerner. It's a great company. I'm proud to be one of, they have like 10,000 employees. It's a great company. I fundamentally view healthcare differently. And Mark, to be honest with you, it's one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about opting out of Obamacare, because I have seen there are private sector solutions to drive down the cost of health care. We just got to have elected officials who trust the private sector to do it. The answer is not bigger government. I mean, that's why I'm just so passionate about this.
But why not say on your bios that you work for them? Northwest Missouri Cellular, have you been a general manager in the last 10 years with that company?
I know whenever I went into the state house, when I was elected to the state house in 2002, is when they hired a day-to-day general manager.
I mean, that's 10 years ago, and the reason that here's where the red flag comes up for me, is when it seemed like you were talking in the present tense about your relationship with that company. Now, you say you still have a relationship. I'll have to take you at your word for that, but it also seemed like you were leaving a big chunk of the bio out of the mix.
No, well, if I did, I apologize. That is by no means my intention. I am very proud of what I do. I'm a guy who believes passionately in the private sector. I talk about, Northwest Missouri Cellular more because that is where I got my start in the entrepreneurial type of my first real company running. I mean, I owned some apartments and was entrepreneurial from that fashion. That's what we talked about. But in no way, shape, or form have I ever tried to hide my affiliation with Cerner. Great company,
then
great vision.
Why not put it on the bio? Why is it missing from the bio?
I have no idea why it's not on the bio.
Should it be on the bio?
Sure, absolutely. I'm not at all opposed to it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to find out, because obviously, this thing's going to get intense in the next few weeks.
Well, clearly Peter Kinder and his cronies are trying to articulate a message that's not true.
Well, no, you know what? I'll be honest with you. They brought it to my attention, but I have a lot of things that are brought to my attention. And you and I had a good conversation a couple of weeks ago. I think you would agree to that.
Oh,
and I express interest in fresh young talent in the Missouri Senate. But it seems to me, I took a look at this and I thought it's worth asking the questions, because on the surface it appeared deceptive.
Sure. Let me be very open and very candid and hopefully clarify any of your concerns or questions. At no time have I ever tried to hide my association with Cerner. In fact, what I did, typically the way that the disclosure process works is every year all of us fill out a financial disclosure showing where we're employed or where our income streams come from. And you typically do that a year after that happens. When I went to work for Cerner, I amended my financial disclosure immediately so that everyone would know. I'd never want there to be any confusion. But let there also be no confusion, Mark. I am a public servant, and when I am serving the taxpayers' interest always comes first. The citizens of this state always come first. I'm just fortunate enough to have some real-world private sector experience in how to solve problems and deliver solutions. And I actually think that's good that we have elected officials who understand there's still great innovation and great opportunities that are happening in the private sector if you get government out of the way.